I'm recording this episode on a Saturday. 1 week ago, I woke up in the country of Panama and went to bed that night at my home in Killen, Alabama. This past Tuesday, I woke up in Arkansas and went to bed that night at my home in Killen, Alabama. On Thursday of this week, I went to Atlanta, and this morning I woke up in Atlanta, and now I am in Nashville, Tennessee. I spend a lot of time because of the nature of my work on the road. And so I'm in lots of different places. And so one of the things that I have to do is I have to use small chunks of time well. I know you've got a lot going on in your lives and your ministries. And a lot of times I will hear students say, well, I just don't have the time. And I'll hear others say, I just don't have the time. And I'll be honest, it's a little hard for me to relate to because all my life, God's had me doing a lot of things. So I've always had to try to juggle a lot of things at the same time. And I do think, and I experience that, you get to your load limit. You get to the point where you just don't have time. And I do think there is a challenge there for each of us to think about priorities. What is important and what is most important. Jesus had that ability. Jesus came to tell people how to go to heaven. Jesus performed miracles to show God's love and power. And Jesus came to die on a cross, and he would do those at different times. And it seems in places like Luke chapter 4 that preaching the gospel took precedence over performing miracles. And when it came time to die, he stopped preaching and died on the cross. He had a clear sense of purpose and a clear sense of priorities. And so sometimes what gets us in trouble where we don't have enough time is we get in trouble because we don't prioritize well. We've never really wrestled with, okay, what am I here to do and what's most important? Because I truly believe that much of life is not a choice between good and evil, but it's a choice between better and best. And so sometimes we have to do an organizing of, okay, what is number one in the importance? What's number 2, 3, 4, and 5? And that helps us make decisions. But really what I want us to think about in this particular video is the use of small chunks of time. I believe that we often waste small chunks of time. So I recorded 3 videos for this podcast in the middle of going to 2 Lads to Leaders conventions. You just have to look for windows of time that you can squeeze things in. Spend a lot of time in the car. And so I use that time to make phone calls. I listen to audio tapes of books. I listen through the Bible. I actually design and organize sermons while I'm going down the road. I can listen through the text. I may listen to a book that comments on a text or a topic. And then I can pull out my memo on my phone and I can just talk to that memo and I can talk about passages I want to use. I can outline it through that memo. I can get a lot of work done traveling down the road by listening to things and by then recording my thoughts as a voice memo on my phone. You can get a lot of Bible study done traveling down the road. I think we will find that there are often chunks of time we can use. I don't remember if I've talked to you about it before in these podcasts. I can remember memorizing Greek words and conjugation tables while I was riding the lawnmower and mowing my yard. I can remember laminating conjugation tables for Greek and putting it up around my bathroom. And so as I would shower and brush my teeth in the morning, I would memorize these things. I think about times when you go to a funeral and you've got those 5 minutes right before the funeral starts. Well, if I knew what my sermon was going to be about this Sunday, I would pull out my Bible and I would look over the passage. I find that I like using Accordance Bible software Logos Bible software is helpful. And one of the things I like about it is that I not only have it on my computer, but I have it on my phone and on my pad. And what that means is anytime, anywhere, I have a basic Bible study library with me. And I will open up a notes folder or I will open up a Word file. And when I have small chunks of time, I will do research. I will look at things. I will study. And then I will copy and paste that into this open notes file on whatever it is that I'm going to be preaching on or teaching a class on. I just want to challenge you to look for opportunities to use small chunks of time and realize that there's some technology out there that can help you. And using online Bible study sites, I'm not saying that you go online and get somebody else's sermon and preach it. I am not a big fan of that. But you can, through websites and Bible programs, you can have access to large amounts of information, multiple commentaries, multiple translations of the Bible, Greek study tools, etc. And you can copy and paste those into notepads or into Word files. And what you'll find is with 5 minutes here and 10 minutes there, some time listening to a passage, writing down the road, etc., you'll be surprised at how much prep work you can do. You can send voice text messages to people who are sick and shut-ins. You can send voice emails to people. You can make phone calls to people. You can have meetings over the phone. You can do, when you can call one person and then add multiple people to that same phone call, and you can have a meeting while you're driving down the road. We've got access to Zoom and Google Teams. There are lots of pieces of technology that can allow us to get lots of work done literally from anywhere, anytime in the world. We just have to look for those small chunks of time. And so I think sometimes if we feel like we don't have enough time to get things done, sometimes it's because our priorities are messed up. Maybe we're doing too many things, but sometimes it's because we're wasting time. We're procrastinating. We're not using the small chunks of time that are available to us, and we're not using the technology that can help us to maximize small chunks of time. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Ministry Matters That Matter.